The day is finally here. It's been a long time since I've owned this car. I've actually never put it on the lift. Yes, I'm talking about the S54 Sedan, Snowflake as you guys might know it. I've done a lot of work to it. I've done the whole M3 swap, you know, the rear end, the drivetrain, engine, transmission, all that stuff. I've replaced so many things on this car, but I've never ever put it on the lift. All the stuff that I've done is usually on jack stands. So my first shop that I ever had, it did have a lift, but right before I got that shop, I actually sold my car. And once I moved out of that shop into the last shop where you guys have seen most of my YouTube videos, that was a shop without a lift. Although there was a lot of space, I never had a lift there. And that's actually where I bought my car back, and that's when I did the S54 swap into it. After that, I've moved out here in California. We've been here for about 1 year and 6 months roughly, and I've had a lift here the whole time, even just installed a second lift recently, and I still haven't been able to put it on the lift. All the oil changes, any other maintenance I've done is usually on jack stands. I just have a feeling that if I put it on the lift, I'm gonna see stuff that I wanna change, that even though I've replaced a lot of stuff that I wanna, you know, refresh, replace again. It just starts out as a never-ending cycle. You start off with one thing, and next thing you know, I'm pulling the whole car apart, changing everything that doesn't need to be changed. But enough talking, let's bring it in. We're gonna finally install these wheels today. Hopefully it starts. You guys know I don't drive this that much. I even sold the radio out of it to somebody. Man, it's just not worth driving over here. These roads are so bad. I just feel so bad, you know, damaging my car, parking it somewhere, getting door dings, and people over here really don't know how to drive. All right, ready?
Let's see.
I didn't think it was that low, but I'm gonna have to drive it up on some wood. No, I've got a leak. I think I'm leaking from the rear main seal. And it's like being pushed back on here. Yep, that's oil. The first time I did the swap, I changed some of the bushings on that rear end, but I ended up selling that one. This is a rear end out of another car. It's still an M3 rear end, but the bushings all need to be replaced. I already have all poly bushings, so what I'm waiting on is I'm trying to get another Vince bar kit, so I'm going to install that in here. If I can't get one soon enough, I might make something of my own. and, you know, just go crazy with it and change all the bushings at the same time, do all that, and if I want to do anything else, might do that as well. But besides that, yeah, the differential bushings are both shot, the two rear ones on the actual case itself. I'm pretty sure the front one is also pretty far gone. But this rear end has less than 100,000 miles. But yeah, so subframe itself is looking crack free. I've got reinforcement plates on it, but that's about it. I really didn't do much else. And I don't drive this car hard. I rarely ever launch it. Actually, I don't think I've ever launched it. And I don't really redline it ever. I know I've done all this stuff and everybody's like, you should drive it. You know, why would you get the added power if you're not gonna use it and stuff like that? For me, after I bought it back, I don't think I've ever felt like, you know, I don't wanna do anything to this car that might damage it. It's not just because it's, you know, my first car, all that. It does have a lot of value to me. If it wasn't for this car, I would never be in the position that I am right now. I would never have even picked up, you know, a wrench to ever start working on a car. So this car really does mean a lot to me. Even though I did sell it, which was very stupid of me, I was fortunate enough to get it back. Let's go and get this oil change done and actually do what we're supposed to be doing. I think I've wasted about an hour, hour and a half just looking at stuff and jacking it up. Let's get to work.
Let's get to work. Let's get to work.
I am.
Oh man. An hour's gonna pass. And you're still gonna be doing the same thing. It's fine, I'll just chill.
I'm just checking everything, making sure nothing's out of the ordinary. This is the first time I'm underneath the car, can you believe it? Like, on the lift. Usually I'm on my back, so you can't really get a full view as you can right now.
Mm-hmm. It's a shame.
It is a shame.
Something.
I found one of the rattles that I always hear when it's idling over, let's say like 800 RPM, I hear a rattle, and it's from this heat shield right here. Oh man, been searching for it. Not really.
Not really? Yeah, not really. Quit lying.
I've been searching for it for the past hour.
Yep.
Oh, it's pretty dirty. I think it's been about 9 months since I've changed it. Yeah, about 9 months. Not too many miles, but it's been about 9 months. I usually like to change it every 6 months, but past 3 months, man. It's been, I don't think I've driven it in the past 3 months, really. Finally done with the oil change. Took me about 5 minutes, give or take a couple hours. But anyways,
oh my god,
finally done. It was fun putting my car on the lift. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff. I'm sure everybody's gonna start bashing me in the comments like crazy. But let's just put it this way. So I did the swap about 2 years ago, maybe actually more than that. It's almost been 3 years. So 3 years since I did the swap at my old shop. There's a lot of stuff that I didn't do at that time. I just didn't, find it feasible to spend that much money on the actual car itself. And I mean, I was, still paying for a bunch of other stuff. But anyways, let me go and point out a few things before you guys start mentioning it. So first things first, what I really want to do to the car. So I'm trying to do a full cooling system upgrade. That includes a new radiator, new oil cooler, new shroud, all that. And it's all gonna be aftermarket stuff. Hopefully aluminum radiator, aluminum oil cooler, and get rid of, the whole front fan situation, put an aftermarket fan, maybe something electric. And then I also want to do the exhaust again. I actually had the exhaust, the muffler at least, welded on by some local shop near my old shop, and they didn't really do such a hot job. They also forgot to put one of my covers back on for the exhaust. There's a few other things I want to do. I want to code some more things into the car. Only coding that I did do on the car was just so that it will run properly. You know, I didn't really take out any other fault codes or anything like that. And all that stuff mainly was so I could do a DIY for you guys as far as the whole S54 swap coding. Obviously, I haven't got around to that. Obviously, I haven't got around to showing you guys how to use INPA, NCS Expert. You know, all this stuff, I want to try to do everything, but obviously it's not possible for me to do everything. When I do start setting some time aside for my car, especially when I start doing that rear end and stuff, the car is going to be in here for a while, and usually when it's in the shop, that's usually when I'm doing something to it. So at that time, I'll make those DIYs out, and I'll start, you know, buttoning everything up the way I want it to be. But anyways, that's enough of me rambling. If you guys see anything in the video that's not proper for the whole swap or whatever, trust me, I already know I can make a whole list, an endless list on things that are wrong with the car. So if you have any questions about the whole swap as far as, you know, how it rides and how everything works, it's really, I mean, everything is pretty much plug and play. It bolts right in. Anybody could do it over, you know, a couple of weekends. It doesn't take that long to do it. The hardest part, I would say, is finding all the parts. If you don't have a parts car, that's probably the hardest part. Everything else is very straightforward. And besides that, the ride, like the whole quality of the swap, I haven't had any issues in terms of reliability, but like I said before, I don't drive my car hard at all. If you plan on driving it hard, you want to do, you know, maintenance that's required, such as get like, you know, a rebuilt Vanos with the crypto treated hubs and whatnot. But yeah, I've put on about 30 or so thousand miles on the swap, driven it cross country, like I said. It's got some cheap coilovers on it. I mean, they're not cheap, they're ST coilovers, but the you know, the beginner quality that they had doesn't have adjustable dampening or anything. And I mean, it rides perfect. It still rides really smooth. Obviously, I work on a bunch of different cars. I get a lot of M3s in here as well, and I know, you know, how the M3s actually handle and all that. I mean, I would say it's just right on par. I don't think you're gonna notice many differences. Obviously, I did it into a sedan versus a coupe. I prefer the sedan. And as long as you do all the proper reinforcements, you shouldn't have any other issues with the whole frame of the car cracking out and stuff like that. And if you do want to do a swap like this, I usually suggest starting out with, you know, a newer E46. The later the better. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below or message me on Instagram at ShopLifeTV, and I'll try to answer them as quickly as I can. But anyways, thanks for watching. Make sure you stay tuned for my next video where I finally install a new set of wheels on my car.